Welcome to the daily log. Here we are. We've just purpose of the log. What is the purpose of the log? What is my approach? Well, I'm retrofitting the table of contents when I go on a rant, and then sort of backfilling it and putting in an index at the end, covering off the points that I made. So that second iteration of the creation of the index is a more detailed glossary of terms, even is good. So daily logs, Prince 2 artifact, check it out. And what am I doing? Well, I'm hoping to develop a suite of value propositions, and I'm hoping to create a video for internal uses and one of the, internal training, descriptions of the product and stuff. And that's quite the challenge. It's sort of time to really, hibernate and come out and face the world again, which should be back online, I think, in about a year. So what can I do in that time? Well, do your shirt and cryptocurrency trading, which I've done. So tick. Now what? Well, I like the idea of having a drop-in centre here, because I could use the company generally, and just provide support. So it really is like, in a way, just charging your friends money, charging people money to be their friend. I mean, whoops, doesn't sound very, that's not a very nice thing, is it? Well, generally not. Customer and supplier relationship, offering friendship, well, friendly customer service never goes astray. So we smile here while we're on the phone, and we stop smiling, we just, first priority is happiness. So we're in the happiness business. You're being someone's friend and then taking money off them. There's a conflict of interest. So we're not a friendship business. We could be a non-for-profit club that offers a drop-in centre to offset some of my costs. So money is always in the mix. It's a business. It's a business model. It's not a fucking rip-off Ponzi scheme. So that's why these videos are important, to explain. Well, check out Prince 2, the customer supplier relationship environment in Prince 2 Project Land, which, philosophically gives clues into the business model canvas framework, and as to relationships that are forged or hope to be forged through this vehicle called a value proposition. So what does a value proposition research and development team do? Check out the link. They've got a Trello site. I've got a page on Trello for them, or a board as it's called. So I make videos about, and these videos never get forgotten. They're there to be refined, so that perhaps when the obstacles are removed, or an opportunity presents itself to justify the business case, and on a risk managed prioritisation of capital investments, rank them all, and So I'm starting with administration. What? So I'm just one person. I need an administrator to do all my stuff administratively, but also an executive assistant type who can liaise with the likes of whoever it's going to be that's required to set up the company structure. And there's a checklist there, but I've not really looked into it. I think that's the lean startup. I'm more into sort of business as usual mode, with how do I want the final business model to look, rather than how do I get it going. So there's no real startup exposure there. Well, there's been heaps, but I haven't really got a model for it. It's just until you got any money, it's, you know, you can't do it all for nothing. So, yeah, you're not going to make money out of helping startups get up off the ground, are you? No. So be one yourself. Most of them fail, and that's where Collins Private Equity come to the fore. So that's been in mothballs. But now that crypto's just gone front and centre with murmurs about global adoption of a bridging asset, murmurs about central banking digital currency, so replacing their physical fiat, well, not so much replacing, but in some cases introducing a digital currency as their local tender. Well, means that whatever, don't even get there because it gets fairly technical very quickly. Easy to miss. Yeah, and the definitions of things are sort of seemingly fairly in a state of flux. But I digress there. But there are options then now to have, you know, invite investments. But you know, for any one of these businesses, they're all going to have. I'm going to have a secretary. Going to have someone to answer the phone. So all these things that are causing me grief and that I don't want to do, I record what I do with the very specific purpose of one day outsourcing. You know, if I could outsource my divorce, I would. You know, and so there is an Outsource My Divorce website, the Trello page at the moment, and this could offer to the aggrieved fathers absent from their children, you know, some assistance in, as I did this week. Booked a holiday, a couple of text messages and minimal phone calls, so I haven't timed it end to end, but I bridged the gap between two conflicting parents and arranged a school holiday for the kids to see their dad, which is a pretty proud achievement. So I know how much that would mean to me if were the shoe to be on the other foot, not precisely, but in my circumstance, if someone was able to arrange that. And you know, you'd be surprised how many times I've attempted to get that specific task, you know, done, albeit cross borders and cross language, and she just, yeah, well, there you go. So we just need that service to happen, and there's enough room for conflict at the best of times when I'm booking a flight for a solo mission somewhere on a business trip or what have you, just between me and flight centres, because it's a complicated business that has to be very precise logistics. I think the movie points that theme out quite well. And yeah, look, someone doing that, and then why stop there? Well, what about budget? Yeah, okay, but we can do, if we are able to add value, if we're able to, the benefit that we offer there is that because we're not emotionally involved with the situation and there's no history of, or repeated history, where, you know, because it's emotionally charged, there's some sort of existing animosity, so you don't have to get too sidetracked in a conversation before, you know, old scars and old wounds are reopened potentially. So we avoid all of that, and I think that is an enormous pain reliever. It gets jobs done, so it actually gets the booking part of the thing, which does take time, even when you're not fighting, you can't, you know, it doesn't, but then it also avoids any potential conflict. Whose job is it to book the flight? You know, you go back and forth and then you get the flight centre involved. Not that I'm not having a slice at them at all, just saying that, you know, there's some communication that needs to be synchronised, agreed and move forward on. So yeah, that's a winner for sure. For me it is. So I am hiring. If you want to audition and do that job, I would love you to call me 0468 356 341 today. linandc@yahoo.com.au, contact La Concierge and register your interest in doing that, because I will pay money for that. Yeah, so those services I think then managed by the Value Proposition Research and Development team who come up with these ideas. And, zero additional overhead, isn't there? Because I have to do those things by virtue of my circumstance. Why not try to make zero business model in it? So what does this do? Well, two things. Forget the entrepreneur bit, but as a human, I'm stepped back from the situation. I'm cognitively intervened and observing my behaviour not from a perspective other than just a participant. So I'm participating in my own behaviour, but I've got the secondary perspective going on in parallel during the behaviour, which is, if you're smart, punctuated with 10 breaths and some meditation techniques. Bang, that's another product that's on Netflix, I know, but you come in here to the studio and meditate, booyah. So that's part of the Outsource My Divorce suite of products. So it's social work and a secretary is a very useful combination. And in fact, social work is futile, absolutely futile, if ultimately doesn't lead to any change. Now, getting jobs done, right, that's the change. Every task that gets done has changed the state of that person's environment and the artifacts with which that person is engaging with. And those people and those situations within that collectively form the moments of that person's life, the customer. And so having a moan is great to a point. Having a moan, and after that, all of the jobs drop out of that moan and they're delegated and resourced, or at least costed. So resourced, you may not go ahead with it, but you identify someone or something, an object, project artifact to complete that particular aspect of the list of jobs. And those list of jobs in software development parlance is called the product backlog in Agile Scrum Master speak. So not that we're getting involved in that just this early, but here's a list of stuff I need done. Good. And it's taken you an hour to tell me that list. Good. And then you'll have a list of lists probably at the start of the process. But as you're ticking off these boxes, moving forward through the first week, then the first month, then the second and third month, that's the first quarter, then the first half year, right? So you go 6 months, so we'll give you a 6-month review and compare it with the benefits, the business case. And there we're going on to Prince 2. And we're applying Prince 2 methods to social work, where someone comes in with these, let's call them, assuming getting some sort of psychotherapy is a task. Well, it is, isn't it? Identifying that it's required, isn't that a task? And who does that? Well, the GP, right. And there's some fucking loose cunts out there, aren't there, Dr. Williams? You fucktard. And if you walk into the wrong fucking doc shop, which I did, you can end up with a completely different healthcare plan than the one that you went in for on that specific day, because an administrator got the dates or the appointments wrong, or you were otherwise in a state where it was getting difficult to tolerate due to lack of sleep, the bullshit and administrative inefficiencies that come across the counter, because they're the gatekeepers, they're the ultimate, gatekeepers of information and control, because it's a life and death situation in a 24-hour medical centre. Rubbish. So it's so certain things just to be avoided, but managing all of that. Where was my lawyer so that I could say, listen, this bloke, what he said, that's malpractice. I haven't been back to that joint from the shoulder because of what this person has threatened me with. Plus they don't know the difference between a physio complaint and a request to get some counselling, to assist through divorce and child separation anxiety. It's And that was at the time preventative maintenance. Bullshit, I fucking walked into a wall. Anyway, moving on. So that one doesn't help matters. But, you know, and I couldn't be bothered making all those other appointments, so, you know, my health is, it's health, it improved anyway, but I'm now starting to, you know, go off on a bit of a tangent. But I mean, maybe that's cathartic, I don't know. I'm sitting in a comfy chair looking at this scene on the TV, which when I turn the light off will be quite on bill. And, you know, wouldn't it be magic if I could just sit here and as an idea comes, and rather than hit record on the play button, somehow that all the, you know, all the tasks are voice to text, you know, I might just go task, blah blah blah, and name the task. That goes in the system, gets recorded in Zendesk, which I've tested along with Monday.com. So, and the findings of these comparisons, these tests are on Trello, back when I had a bit of a passion for it. And then that waned because I was going through something else, but it's still there, that's the beauty of it. It's not locked away in some archive, it's at any time I want to go back and revisit, or, you know, if I have the resources once more to push some of these things ahead, you know, I might have to take me crypto losses I'm thinking and, you know, cash out with whatever I can, because my faith in that whole bet is getting tested. And what do they teach you about the psychology of trading? You know, like that's the first thing they say to you is check it out, because, you know, you're going to get tested, and you need to understand that this is going to happen. These, you know, and there's a link there. I'll upload that. I did upload that today on Trello. So I'm running out of space on my machine. Pretty good sign that I've duplicated some files there. They get duplicated because when I use vRecorder, it creates a file, I think in 2 places. I'm not certain, but there's a whole lot of space that I have to free up on the phone in order to continue producing these videos. So the daily log is an attempt to capture, it's not for external purposes, like I'm not doing this to fucking, you know, win big on YouTube and get lots of likes on Facebook. I'm not into that. I'm trying to put my ideas somewhere, so that at any time I can pick them up, you know, and hopefully a game plan. So the administration, getting a secretary to deal with your mum's shit, booking appointments, diary management, that's big. Diary management would be great, you know. Get me 3 quotes. All the stuff that I fucking do doesn't get acknowledged. I don't get paid for it by the hour, by the job. It's just drop what you're doing and fix my remote control. You know, pick this up, do that. Before you leave, do this. It's like, hang on, if you want to call me, I'm on the phone. I'm on the intercom. No. Oh, I couldn't possibly send a photo via WhatsApp. And we're down that little rabbit hole, I'm stopping it, you know. So I need to offload shit and get out and get myself in a position where I get some clarity over and some perspective on what to do with what I have now. What can I do with what I've got now, and what's my plan? And then get resources, get some people to help me follow up with the plan, monitor and control. A social worker sitting there and a secretary. Great. And some of the jobs that get done not only be performed, some may need to be performed completely by me from start to end, and others may have a hybrid of involvement from various suppliers, stepping in and out at different stages in the process, much like a project if it's big. But if it's 5 minutes, we're not doing a bloody business case for that, are we? So the customer's just going to go pay it. No. What?
At Chemist Warehouse, your health is our priority. That's why
I'm going to XRP news because I don't know what's going on with that investment.
Within
No.
the last several days or so, I made a video
Yeah.
in which I covered an article that claimed a Ripple competitor was a, quote, XRP killer, end quote. And I'd say I pretty well ripped it to shreds. This was the walled garden that had...
Okay, so that's it, don't worry about it. He just said, yep, I'm not going to bother watching that. Someone said something and then he disagrees. Fantastic. Fantastic television. But I can't read everything. I'm looking for me mates on this crypto channel.
We have breaking news.
He's not one of them. 3